Hey everyone, Dennis and Dara here. We're excited. We have a story to tell. Many of you have heard of it, but not in a lot of detail. So you're going to see this video along with 2 to 4 other videos. We're trying to make them all short so you can get through them easy and not have to sit through so much. That's our best attempt. So we invite you to look through each of the videos you're going to be getting in this email as you hear about past, present, dream, and future, what we're looking at. So this video, we want to share the dream. We want to actually give you as quickly as possible the nuts and bolts of what's in our heart. For years, if you've known us, and even if you haven't, the Lord has marked us with ministry to families and the building of homes, marriages, parenting, rites of passage, and all that, and even confirmed over and over and spoken to us. You know, in this day, the family is under such attack. It's dysfunctional, and I love the scriptures, Malachi 4, 5, and 6. In the last days, this time, the last days, the Lord's going to be restoring the hearts of fathers to the hearts of children. And it's bigger than just family, but it's family. It starts in family. And then I think it grows to even a great harvest in the body of Christ. So that's our vision, that's our dream. But we believe the Lord wants us to get a ranch, a piece of property to do that. We want to share what that property would do today, how we would use it. Obviously, we have been blessed for the last 6 years with a piece of property that we are on right now. And we have pursued all of these as much as possible. And we're so thankful, but we believe that the Lord right now is in the season of moving us into a more fulfillment of the vision. Obviously, this property, we would like as many acres as possible, and we're talking anywhere from 200 to 300 to 1,000 or more, because we have a lot of use for all of it. But the property would obviously first have our personal home. All of our homes have been very user-friendly in that there's always gatherings, meetings there. So we would want a very nice home on there for our family, for those hosting of meetings and such. As well on that property, we want a lodge. And I'm going to let Dara tell about a lodge that we're looking forward to.
So on the Turning Hearts property, we want to have a very special lodge, and we want to name it Jonathan's Place. Amen. And Jonathan was known for just loving people and for having a heart to relate and even pastor at a young age. I've had so many people come up and say he had such a heart of a father to be so young, and he just had such a heart for relationship and reaching out to people. And that's what we want this lodge to represent, and to honor Jonathan's memory as being one who pursued the hearts of others. And so this lodge would embody some lodging for groups of people, but it would also have a huge meeting space that would be informal, like a big living room that people could come together. We would probably do some of our teaching in that lodge. It would have a kitchen and the capacity to feed people, feed groups of people. And so also we both envision a porch with rockers where people can just share their hearts and relationships be formed and nurtured. And so that's Jonathan's Place. Yeah,
it's deeply, obviously, if you know our story with Jonathan, the difficulty, but yet the belief that God restores everything. And so we're excited about that. Obviously, a big part of our ministry is the mentoring of young men and young women. We believe that today the Lord wants to raise up young men to be great fathers, to be great husbands first, and great fathers. And that is a lot of what I do regularly, weekly, with young men, Dara with young women. And we want this place for them to be able to come and live and be taught through hard work, through discipleship, through character building.
And our heart is to model that in front of them. And you can't really do that in a weekly meeting.
Yeah.
Modeling takes place living side by side
Yes.
for short seasons or even long seasons. And so we need a property where we can model and live life, so to speak, with these families and these young adults so that we can flesh out the biblical principles on family.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned family, so we're talking about young adults, but we want cabins. Share about cabins and how we want some cabins on the property.
So if I could tell you how many times we've had people approach us and say, "Can I just come stay with you and be a fly on the wall and watch your family? Can I just see your conversations and witness how you interact, because I didn't grow up that way."
Well, and I want to say something right there. You know, what we sometimes think is common sense of how we operate day to day to day to day, it's no longer common sense. How to relate to your wife, how to relate and lead your children as a father and as a mom. And so that's what Dara and I get asked a lot.
We've had several families say, "Hey, we're in transition. We could come live with you. Is there any way you could house our family and we could just go through a season of working on our relationships in your home in close proximity so that in the moment, in the crisis, they get the answers that they need." And it's not, well, last week something happened and I can't remember, but so we need a place where we can take families in and experience life with them on a daily basis.
So we'd like to have 7 cabins on this property where people could come and stay for this extended period of time. But we'll move on. Rites of passage hugely marked our life, and we've had so many ask, and we offer that. We want to be able to offer just our materials, but even have this property that's beautiful, that a father and son could come out for a weekend and materials be put in their hand to discuss, and how that father imparts to that son or daughter, if it was a young lady going into young adulthood, the building of that relationship, what it means to become an adult. And so we want to even be the lodge and all this, or maybe even a wedding venue, event center that we would build on the property, house the ceremonies, cater that ceremony, because in all this, we've been dependent on support for many years now, and we're so grateful. But we want revenue incomes, we do, and that's why on this property we want to build an event center, a wedding center, something that we could actually lease, and it be work for those that come in, those young adults, and they learn skills through that, but it be a way to bring in money as well as, I'm a hunter and taking fathers and sons and teaching them how to hunt. So we want the property to provide for that we could teach hunting and hunting skills. And again, that outdoor recreation time together, horseback riding. These are ways that we've put in the concept and the plan of Turning Hearts and Turning Hearts Ranch to actually be revenue income.
Yes.
Last thing I want to say, that's the primary nuts and bolts of what this property would be used for, is that I struggled with how do we tell people, or get people excited about a family ministry on a property. And Romans chapter 5 says this, that the sin of Adam had a great impact. It was huge. We all know every human was impacted by it. But then it says how much more the impact of the act of righteousness of Christ for salvation.
Yes.
And the Lord told me that even though right now families, sometimes we all want a great family. Everybody loves family, but it's difficult and it seems to get overlooked. But that if we would build this place, or He would build it, I really want to say the Lord would build this place and anoint us to do a relational family ministry, how much more the impact on tens and hundreds of generations to come, because we're in this for the generations.
Yes.
We want 10 and 20 and 30 generations of righteousness coming up. Last thing I just want to mention, so obviously that's the vision. We're looking for a property. We're inviting you through this video to seriously consider and pray about investing money. We need lots of money to move forward. We believe the Lord's saying He's going to do it, that you and others are going to feel led to give large amounts of money. You're going to see a video on a property, and it'll lay out some phases and actual amounts of money. But we're saying, pray about investing in a family movement. We believe the Lord said it's time for a family movement on the earth, and He's anointed us for this purpose. And we're saying, would you invest in a family movement? I think the last thing Dara want to mention on that subject as well.
Yeah, and we need your prayers.
Yeah.
We need people who believe that the family is under attack and that it's the bullseye for the enemy right now. Because if he can take down the family, he can take down a nation.
He has won, yeah.
And he has won, and we know he's not going to because of what the Bible says. But we feel to be a part of the solution and the healing of the family. And so we're asking for men and women of faith to stand with us and agree with us for this piece of property that's consecrated to the healing of families. But we also want to say that if you feel stirred in your heart, in the least, to invest in the family through our vision for Turning Hearts and Jonathan's Place, call us, reach out to us, ask questions. We will come. We want you to know we will travel, and we would love to spend a day or two with you just sharing our hearts. We want you to know everything there is to know, and there's no way we could tell you. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but we want you to know everything so that you can invest in confidence that this is where I want my resources to go, and I feel good about the spiritual return that's going to come from investing in the family.
Amen. And so you should have our email address, text, phone call, any of that. Please, we welcome your input. We welcome your questions.
We'd love to come see you.
Love to hear from you. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
All right, now you can go cut it off. Oh, watch yours.